Welcome to Helping Leaders Achieve What Matters. Today, my guest is Irina Baranov. Now, Irina is an executive coach, a certified executive coach. She's a trainer at the Vistage Chair Academy, so she trains all of our chairs on how to be better coaches. She's a master chair herself, and she's a Vistage speaker on the topic of the art and science of coaching. But more than that, she's who I go to for coaching. A lot of people don't know that I ever have issues, challenges, or problems, but Irina is one of those people that do. So she's not only a coach for me, but a friend, and I really appreciate you being here today.
Totally my pleasure, Mark.
So what is the art and science of coaching?
Yeah, it's basically a way for leaders to develop their people better. That's the most basic way I can put it. And the reality is that in building those coaching muscles and becoming better leaders who develop people, we actually become better human beings. We become better spouses, better parents, better friends, better everything.
So I work with a variety of different types of leaders. I have CEOs, I have their direct reports, their key executives, and then I have their middle managers. And one of the common themes that I hear is, I don't have time for one-to-ones. People come to me with problems, and it's just faster and easier to tell them what to do.
It is. It is absolutely faster and easier. Let's validate that. It is faster and easier to tell people what to do. It's kind of like shoelaces, and you'll hear me talk about this when we do our workshop. Is it easier to bend down and tie a kid's shoelaces than to actually teach them how to tie their shoelaces? Of course, it's quicker and easier. But as parents, we all eventually slow down and teach the kid how to tie shoelaces because we don't want them going out into the world constantly tripping over themselves. So keep shoelaces in mind as a metaphor when it comes to coaching versus quickly managing, telling, mentoring. So coaching is its own special art and science, if you will. And there are other things that we do as leaders and as parents that have a place, of course, have a place with our people, personal and professional people, but it's not coaching.
So, why should they take that extra time? I mean, with the kids, we want them to go out in the world without falling on their laces. But as a manager, as a CEO, as a leader, what difference, what impact does it have if I take that extra time to whatever coaching is? Because I'm not sure that we've defined it yet.
Great question. And I can give you several answers. I mean, the most basic one is development. A leader's job is to develop their people. That is our job, right? Another reason is, the saying, if you give a man a fish, he will eat once. If you teach him to fish, he will eat for a lifetime. So do you want to constantly, as a leader, be handing out one fish at a time? Or do you want to teach somebody to fish for themselves so that they can continue to be prosperous and successful, whether in your company or somewhere else, right? So we want to develop people. We want to empower them. We want to have them grow in their skill set and in their abilities, right? And also, as we've been seeing the world of talent acquisition, talent retention becoming more and more of a conversation, if there's one silver bullet, not that there is one, but if there is one in retaining great employees, I believe it's coaching. I believe employees that are coached well, that are developed well, that are cared for, that somebody shows an interest in, are employees that are going to stay and do great work for you. Is that enough? Have I given you enough reasons?
Yes. And it's interesting because today I saw a post by the Gallup organization saying that the single most effective thing that leaders can do is to have at least one meaningful conversation with their direct reports a week.
Yeah, I agree.
And so what is coaching? I mean, when somebody comes to me with an issue, is that when I coach them? Do I have a one-to-one with them and I'm going to set up a coaching session and they come to me with their, how do I do this issues? I mean, how do you see it working in the real world with, our CEOs of small businesses and leaders that, are managing a million balls in the air at the same time?
Yeah, so coaching is a problematic word. It's a problematic word because it's been in the sports world forever, right? So when people think of coaches, they'll often think of sports coaches who are standing on the sidelines and yelling at the at the players or in the locker room telling them what to do. That's not what we do when we're leadership coaching, when we're executive coaching. It's obviously it's a different thing than sports coaching, but there are some analogous thoughts that people have about that. So it's for me, it's easier to describe coaching by talking about what it's not, right? Coaching is not management. Coaching is not mentoring. Coaching is not teaching. Coaching is coaching. Coaching is developing people to do for themselves as opposed to tell them or teach them.
Can you give an example to be more specific?
You want more than the shoelaces?
Yes, I want a real life, like a CEO example.
Yeah. So let's say I'm in the marketing department. I'm a CMO. I'm a chief marketing officer, and I have a marketing manager who reports to me. They're 10 years into their career. They know lots of things, right? They're pretty tenured. They're pretty experienced, and they've taken on a new campaign in a new sector for my company that they haven't done before. So this is new for them. So they're bringing a lot of skill and a lot of experience to something that's already new. So as their boss, as their leader, I'm going to say, you know what? There's stuff that this person already knows. I'm not going to answer all their questions. I'm going to ask them good questions to pull it out of them. I believe they have the wisdom. And so that's the coaching piece. And then there are going to be times where I need to be a good manager, where I need to say, here's the deadline and here are the goals. And here's why I need this campaign to be by the end of the quarter. So I'm going to wear possibly different hats in different conversations with this person.
So, I took several different coaching courses and got certified myself. And I remember them saying that coaches never give answers. They are always asking questions. Is that really the coaching moments? Is when we're just asking questions, even when we know the answer and we know in our head that it would be faster to tell them the answer?
Yeah, so you and I have taken similar courses. If you're going to be a purist, which sometimes I am, right? So, and in my workshop, I will be a purist. If you're going to be a purist about coaching, that's absolutely correct. It is about asking questions, and you are to never give an answer. The answers always lie within the person. And in reality, sometimes we have to wear a couple hats, right? Sometimes we're having a one-on-one with a direct report, and it's time to take the coaching hat off and put the mentor or the manager hat on. So, we have to, I often say my favorite question is, what does this moment call for? What does this moment call for? What does this human in front of me call for? And often the answer is coaching, especially for me. It's what I get paid to do, especially for you. It's what we get paid to do. But sometimes the answer is teaching, mentoring, managing, leading, something other than coaching. So we need to be mindful. We need to be mindful of the moment. We need to be mindful of the human in front of us and what is needed.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, wonder what is the right moment for coaching versus managing versus teaching versus mentoring.
Yeah, it's complex. I can't give you a simple do this when that and do this when that. But again, the big word in coaching for me is development. If this moment calls for development, if this moment calls for pulling out the best in someone, if this moment calls for helping them build even stronger muscles when they already have strong muscles, that's when coaching is best used.
So do you, in your workshop, do you teach us a specific coaching technique?
I do. I teach the 5 keys of coaching.
And what are those 5 keys? Can you share them?
Sure. So the first key is the coaching mindset. So being in the right mindset of how you see the person that you're coaching and how you listen to them, how present you are with them, like that is foundational. Then the second key is asking powerful questions. And I have some fun with this. I tell the leaders in the room, powerful questions are not what you think they are. And they're like, oh, what are they? I'm like, oh, you have to come back after the commercial break. So we'll talk about what powerful questions are in coaching. They sound and they feel very different than other kinds of powerful questions that we use as leaders. The third key of coaching is creating new possibilities, getting creative, getting weird, having fun with the person that you're coaching. I enjoy talking about that one a lot as well. And then the fourth and fifth keys, they're simple to-dos. The fourth key is take action. Make sure that the person is going to take a next step. Sometimes it's a baby step, sometimes it's a big step, but make sure that some kind of action is taken after the session. And the fifth step is to create a feedback and accountability loop. Because if we don't create that loop, then how do we know that the coaching actually had any impact, that steps were taken? So that's it. Those are the 5 keys.
Okay, thank you. So powerful questions. I know that in our Vistage meetings, we have our members ask questions when somebody presents a how do I issue. And we don't want them to ask questions that have a yes or a no answer. We don't want them to ask questions that have the suggestion buried within the question,
That's
like,
right.
have you thought of or have you tried this or that? What other distinctions about powerful questions can you share?
So I don't want to give away too much from the workshop, but you're on the right track. They're open-ended questions. They don't have an embedded solution, and there's a certain flavor to them. You'll see in the workshop.
Got it. And for CEOs and leaders that are skeptical that they have time to do this, what would you say to them?
I would say that the formula that I use takes 15 to 20 minutes. So it's not 2 minutes. It's an investment of time for sure. It's also not 2 hours.
Yeah.
You don't need 2 hours to do good coaching. You need about 15 to 20 minutes. And you'll experience that in the room. I'm going to have people have a taste of it.
So in your methodology, do you expect people to come to you as the manager or the leader with an issue or a problem? Or is it that you observe something they're doing and you walk up and say, can I coach you about that?
Yeah, I've seen all 3 models work. I've seen a model of the coachee initiates the one-on-one. I've seen the model of the coach initiates the one-on-one, and I personally like the model of a standing one-on-one, whether it's weekly, monthly, and the coachee brings some topics that they want to develop. And of course, if the coach sees some blind spots or opportunities, why wouldn't they say, and can we also coach on topic X?
And what would be the distinction between teaching them versus coaching them?
Shoelaces.
Shoelaces. So shoelaces, am I coaching or am I teaching when I'm showing them how to do it?
If you're showing them how to do it, you're teaching. If you're saying, I believe in you, you've got this, I've already shown you how to do it. Now you got to bend down and tie those shoelaces yourself, then you're coaching.
Yeah. My granddaughter is 9 years old. I can very vividly recall teaching her how to tie her shoelaces, and you're in a hurry to go out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but Mark, that's a great experience to tap into, right? You have it as a grandfather, you have it as a father, I have it as a mother. Most people have that experience of, okay, like, what does this moment call for? Do I like quickly get it done and not be frustrated because we're late to go somewhere? Or is this something that I want to take my time and help this kid build some capability themselves?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's our commitment to their growth and development that has us take that time.
That's right.
So what would you say is the most surprising or counterintuitive thing about coaching that you've learned?
Less is more. Less is more. Less me, more them. Yeah. So I would say the first half of my years on earth, I got a lot of accolades for being smart, for being hardworking, for sharing my knowledge, my memorization, my knowledge, my skills. This second half of my life has been more about listening and presence. And so the less words I use, the less smart I try to be, the more that I just love and believe in people and ask them good questions, the better of a coach I am.
That makes a lot of sense. What else should I ask her? Should our audience know about the art and science of coaching?
They should know that it's not that complicated. Uh, I often hear people say before the workshop starts, Irina, I'm here because I'm a terrible coach and I don't know that I'm going to get better. And I said, stop. That's a story. You're telling yourself a story. And yeah, if you watch if you watch somebody in the NBA, of course you're going to think that you can't play basketball. Well, no, you can't play in the NBA probably, but you can play basketball. You can learn how to dribble a ball, and you can do some reps and try to get it in the net. Same thing with coaching. It's a skill, it's a muscle. If you practice, you will get better at it, and it's not that complicated.
And I think the beautiful thing is that you have the opportunity not only to practice with your people that you work with, but this is something you can practice at home with your spouse and your children or your grandchildren, right?
Hope you do. I hope
Yes.
you do.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait until you are here in New York live in person. Um, and I really appreciate your time today. If people wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, they can send me a note here on LinkedIn. They can reach me at irina.baranov@vistagechair.com. Yeah, I'm easy to find.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much, Irina. This is helping leaders achieve what matters.